Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Matter of Degrees, the higher education marketing podcast where we talk about creativity, leadership, culture, and content. With me here today is Dustin from USF. We are so excited to have you because, as you know, the best brands are built in degrees. Thank you, Dustin.
Yes, thanks for having
being here. So we're familiar with USF as Epicosity, but for those who aren't, give us a little bit of an introduction about A, who you are, B, who USF is, and what you guys are doing right now with content and marketing.
Absolutely. So my name's Dustin Van Hunnik. I am the digital marketing specialist, assistant marketing director over at USF. So work in a relatively small marketing team, but that's what makes it fun. You know, that's where you're able to kind of divide and conquer and be able to work on really unique things, but together. You're never alone in anything. So that's already just a really cool concept to be able to have there.
Great attitude about a small marketing team.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I mean, there's conversations that you can have with people like, well, this place did this. I'm like, well, they're a team of 30.
Right.
So
they've got 100 people.
It's real bad. But no, I mean, it has been just a wonderful experience. I've been there for just over 2 years, starting in August. So this is my third school year through. Yeah. I get to act like a student, like I'm a junior now. You know, I still get to. I don't get to leave when I graduate, but I'll take my 4 years.
Exactly. You get paid now for it. So it's a little different.
It's a little bit more motivation to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's been just an awesome experience to be able to experience the world of higher ed and the back end. I mean, finding ways to be coming not necessarily that far out of college. I mean, I'm 28 right now, about to be 29 in January, but college was not the distant memory. It's a little bit, but it's enough to remember what I was doing at that time. And going in through journalism school is like, okay, I see the world, but from the other end now.
Yeah.
And being able to kind of keep that in mind as I work with students, work with professors is just a really cool experience.
That's awesome. And so, and USF is based here in Sioux Falls,
That's
obviously. Right. Smaller, private, Christian, faith-based university. So you've got some layers of what you're doing from a marketing and just team and culture perspective there as well. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think that's pretty dead on. I mean, it's a very nice, you know, I wouldn't say quiet, but a nice smaller space that you can kind of embrace some of those things. Because a lot of the students that we talk to are from small towns.
Sure.
They're from that area. The things that they love or the things that they need in some cases is that smaller class size, that little bit more of I need to work directly with someone.
Yeah.
And you get that. And that's not to say we're small because we're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah.
So there's the small town feel with the big town experience is kind of how we play that a little bit.
I like that.
So it's a great way of putting it, I would say, But
there's an interesting, I mean, we've had conversations and we have clients from sort of all over the spectrum, right? We work with flagship universities with 600 people in a one-on-one course, right? And I think that's something I really appreciate about just sort of South Dakota in general, but specifically Sioux Falls, which is our biggest city. But it doesn't feel like it, right? It feels really intimate, and that's something I noticed. I've been to USF campus a number of times, meeting with Whitney and some of the team there. And it feels intimate. It feels connected in a way that I really appreciate, and I'm sure students do as well.
Absolutely, and that's the best part about it is that it always has been.
Yeah.
It's the oldest private institution in the state. So 1883 is what we're looking at. I mean, we just had on September 8th, 142 years. So
congratulations, that's awesome.
Got it all going on. We're looking forward to that 150 coming here soon.
So we're gonna have to do a pretty big campaign, I think, for 150.
Absolutely,
that'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Well, I wanted to get into some questions about like your background and how it's translated. Like you mentioned, college is still within view. It's not quite as far back as it will be someday.
Yes.
But what about sort of where you came from, the sports marketing world, and your background, have you adapted or that has really helped you in higher education marketing?
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's a little bit of a mix. It's between what I have seen, what I have gone through, and as well as just the way the world is changing.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we are in, whether it seems like it or not, a far more digital world than we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
I mean, exactly. Things just develop at such a rapid pace now that we are exponentially seeing differences by the day. So being able to be in a world where I can kind of ride that wave and adapt with it is really cool. But going back further, it was kind of learning, trying to prepare almost for that, because you're it's not like I'm in the mid 2000s or anything like that where I'm trying to ride the internet wave.
Yeah.
That's the new thing there, and it's still the same concept, but very, very differently.
Yeah.
Now life relies on so much technology. I mean, we're doing a podcast where we even all talk about this. People are listening to this and gathering advice, gathering information. That wasn't always available to people. So being able to learn the ways that people did that and kind of take in history and find what's worked and why it's worked and apply those today has been really cool concepts. But then the ever developing of trying to understand what's next and how is next and those types of things, that's the mystery you just get to be a part of.
I love how you put that with sort of the historic aspect of it. I'm a big sort of marketing historian, and I like sort of tracing things back. Like, why are we doing this now when, we did this 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, right? And, being and having some experience in the sports marketing world, in the nonprofit space as well, right?
That's right, yeah.
Different levels of maturity in terms of marketing, different levels of sort of like adaptability and innovation, I think. And then you get to higher education, which is sort of infamously behind or trailing or trying to catch up to entertainment, retail, sports, right? So has there been anything you've noticed in higher ed that either A, they've yet to catch up on, or B, that they're adopting well? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit, it's kind of a funny way of looking at it, but the adapting way is just kind of becoming more normal, if you will.
Sure.
It's not having to be always, and I say always because there's time and place for everything, good, bad, or otherwise. But it doesn't have to be this prestigious presence all the time. It doesn't have to be, what it once was with, the college. It's an experience that everybody is being able to have. So being able to relate to people that are coming to the school to have that experience, it's a little bit more of a direction to be able to show them what that experience is and the fun that you can have, why you should have that experience here and not somewhere else. So I think it's just kind of an adaptability of working with people the way they are already and not necessarily trying to recreate the wheel or to have to stick to something. I mean, again, we're the oldest private institution in the state, but we're not going to sit here and ride on, back in 1895, this worked really well for us.
Yeah.
I bet it's going to work well in 2025. So being able to be adaptable, I think, is kind of the weird taking the question into the answer there, the way that I would kind of answer that.
I like that. I think, one of the things we appreciated about USF was your sort of eagerness or willingness maybe to go further than maybe we thought you were going to, right? Because of sort of the prestigious element of it, the sort of, faith-based stuff. We in general, higher ed is just sort of bureaucratic and political, and there's a lot of red tape. But you and your team were really eager, I think, to do something different or to be more authentic. How does that come out internally? Was that a conversation you guys had already had and we just happened to sort of be in the right place at the right time?
I mean, a little bit of both, but it's part of just the ever-changing world that we're trying to be a part of. So I think internally that is something that we kind of strive for.
Yeah.
And whether that's on the other end of things and saying, we need to get here. We want to get here. What can we do? And kind of working backwards and being able to see from an end like Epicosity where we can have that push to move forward. And this is a little bit more of that direction. And this is what's working right now. This is how we've worked elsewhere.
Yeah.
We've done this. Maybe you could do this at the next level.
Sure.
So a lot of things kind of pick up nicely in that end. And that's where we're super grateful for a group like Epicosity to be able to provide that insight. We don't have to recreate the wheel, but we also don't have to go and invent one either.
That's fair.
So being able to have a tool like that at our disposal and being such great partners is something that we've certainly taken advantage of in trying to develop that space.
Absolutely. What kind of things, we've been working, I think, together 18 or so months, maybe a little bit less. But, you guys have been doing content. You guys have been producing ads. You guys have been branding and doing all of the things, right? What's really been working from your lens in terms of like digital content creation, student stories? What's been working for you guys?
I would say a balance of modernizing and, being a little bit more of, it doesn't have to be the old thing, because for the longest time it was Sioux Falls College, and for the longest time it was the old Shield logo, and people still bring that up today.
Yeah.
But being able to be something new and be something that's ingrained in today and a part of tomorrow is something that we really have the opportunity to take here. Yeah. So taking something like that and combining that with, I'm sorry, I lost my thought.
It's okay. That's okay.
Could you say the question again?
I was just talking about what's working in terms of digital content.
Yes.
And
so taking
stories.
something like that and trying to modernize, trying to upkeep. It's going so fast. It's hard to keep up with. Being ahead of that. Nobody can do that. Nobody can trend set every single day. That's just how it works. But being able to keep up with that and being able to be a part of those things, but also being able to be that authentic piece and show that we haven't changed any values. We are still who we are. We are still what we have, and everything that we've ever been is still a part of us. So being able to, I would say, modernize and authenticize is kind of the two ways I would put that.
I like that a lot.
Being able to be that window to campus is a term that we've said so many times over the last few years, and that's the key. Whether that is a prospective student, I just want to wonder what USF's got going on. You might not be interested, you might not know us at all, or you're pretty interested and you just want to look into it, or you really love it and you got to go check it out. No matter where you're at, we want to be that point where you can just turn that light on and you can see what's happening here. And you can, more importantly, envision yourself as a part of that.
Well, tell me a little bit more about that. I love that phrase, window to campus or window into USF. How does that get built out? I'm assuming, obviously, the sort of documentation and the capture and the sort of, content engine that is 2025, 2026 marketing, right? But like you mentioned, it's impossible, or it's sort of a fallacy to think you can sort of get ahead of that or be that all the time. Yeah. So like, how are you guys having conversations internally, and what does window to the campus like mean for you specifically, and what your role is?
Absolutely. So I think, again, that's where I kind of value being able to think backwardsly. I think that it doesn't have to be such forward thinking that I hope this works. I hope this is right. We can take what's worked and we can take things and elements of things, but show them in a different way. So being that window to campus is important to say, for example, for 4th of July,
sure,
we could just put a graphic out that says, Happy 4th of July, Happy Independence Day. Office may or may not be closed today,
right.
but that's it. Now you see that. Okay, that's it. And you keep scrolling. That's it. That's the end of the story. But instead of that, you can have that same exact message, but in a way that's memorable. It doesn't have to be a Happy 4th of July. I hope you're coming to visit USF. That's just forcing it in and trying to get people to do things. That doesn't work. It's rarely worked previously, but that doesn't work anymore. Yeah. Not with the new generations. Sure. That's not how this goes. So being able to have a message like that and being able to say, this is as simple as a 4th of July.
Sure.
But we do a fun video instead where I have our campus pastor and our student life director come in, and we portray a video where they came in on the day off. Like, what should we do now? And we put them in front of our big display, like our projector screen in our auditorium. And we zooming in on the video makes it look like they're whitewater rafting.
Oh, nice.
And then it's like I zoom out and step back, and they're just sitting in chairs.
Yeah.
But that's how they're spending their 4th of July vacation.
Yeah.
All we said was Happy 4th of July. But people have come up to us and be like, "Oh, you guys are the ones that did that. That's awesome."
Nice.
And it was just 4th of July. I didn't have to force you to apply, to visit, to any of those things that are our central goal. But becoming top of mind anymore is that's the thing. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Because in a world where everybody is warring for the same thought, process, for the same space in people's heads, you got to be memorable.
I love that, and I think a big part of that to me that stood out was just sort of the authenticity you guys are trying to communicate, right? And being present with the students through their experience. And I think that's such a huge thing. We hear it all the time. We're going to go to a conference here in a few weeks where I guarantee there's going to be multiple sessions, conversations, and vendors sort of talking about the student experience and the student journey and sort of leading a prospective student all the way through. And one thing I appreciate about what USF does is not only are you guys really focused on the prospects and who could potentially become a Cougar, but who's already there on campus, your sort of brand advocates, the people that have already chosen you and care about it and are passionate about it. What are you guys doing from a content perspective to sort of balance sort of the prospective, external, come here, apply now sort of stuff, and the problem that a lot of institutions are facing, which is retention and advocacy and loyalty around current students?
Absolutely. I think the best thing that we've done to start addressing that, to work towards addressing that, is making people that are already an ambassador for us be an ambassador for us. I mean, you chose USF over all these other schools. You chose to be here and to represent yourself and USF. So having people understand that is obviously like a kind of an extra hurdle. I'm just going to school. I'm just doing my thing. But being able to have that comprehension from the other side is just as much of a hurdle. Like we need to be able to use these people and tell their stories. It doesn't have to be all about us. And USF is the oldest place, and you should come here. I mean, that's tiresome. That gets old. That only sells you so much.
Sameness, right?
So if you have people that are coming here and doing just incredible things, those are the stories that people want to hear because you see themselves in their shoes. And I mean, that goes right back to that authenticity where we're authentic, but we can show that people here are authentic too. People here are going to become doctors in Africa. People here are doing world-leading research. People here are anywhere and everywhere, whether it's the most local place. People work for USF still after graduation, or as far away as possible. I mean, we are anywhere and everywhere doing so many cool things, but people might not know that. I mean, I couldn't tell you anybody that's graduated 3 years ago. I mean, even we've got a couple hundred in graduating classes as well. I've been at the last 2 graduations taking pictures, and I know maybe 50 of those people. I mean, working with them and it was great. I'm like, oh, maybe I've seen you on campus before.
Of course.
But there just gets to be a point where there's so many people, and that's think of massive institutions. Think of the way that those are. So there's just got to be a way to root it back home and be able to say that there's a reason that you're here. You know it, we know it. So let's do this together. Let's talk about how we can get more people to have those experiences. So I think it's been a lot of that.
I love that. Did anything draw you to higher ed specifically, or like most higher ed marketers, you come from another industry and sort of find yourself loving it? Was it something you sought out, or was it just something that sort of happened?
A little bit of both. I mean, I came from a very non-educational area. I came from sports, and I came from nonprofit, that kind of event world, working in that realm. So very, very differently. But the way that those went kind of almost landed me here, and then getting here was confirming. If that makes sense. So I would say there was elements of like, I could see myself doing that, same concept, but like, this seems like it could be fun. I could enjoy this and do those things that I'm good at or that I love or otherwise. But being able to work in like a sport world before, I mean, I did that in college. I was an intern going back home to work in baseball. Stayed at home during the summer, didn't have to pay for an apartment. Life was great. Hi, Mom. Thanks for the basement. So being able to go back to that and take advantage of those experiences and those times, at the time it's like, oh, this is fun. Work in sport when you can. It's great. I loved it, but now looking back, I take so much from it because I learned to embrace the fun, the fun side. You see things that were like the Savannah Bananas, and what makes them so popular today is it's fun, it's different, it's everyone complains about baseball being so slow, so boring. I could never sit and watch it on TV, let alone go to a game. But I mean, if you capture those elements of You know, you can get your baseball hot dog. Even that alone, you can see it, you can smell it, you can, you know, your stomach's maybe rumbling if you hadn't had one in a while. There's so many elements that you can just capture like that, and you look back at it, and it's great. So being able to capture the fun and being able to find what we did to separate, what I learned to do to try and separate ourselves at that time and stand out in a relatively small market in pure South Dakota. You know, those are things that you can apply. It's not just that, oh, well, that worked for there. Okay, well, on to the next thing. You can apply those things and being able to use those with, as dumb as it sounds, TikTok videos and you know, just fun content like we were talking about. It's not just a happy 4th of July anymore.
Exactly.
You're portraying fun new things in a way that people are going to remember.
Yeah.
So I think
huge.
I took a lot of that from the sport world in a relatively slow sport. Being able to take advantage of that, use that to our advantage.
That's awesome.
And then going to a nonprofit world, largely in event space. Again, is this come to this event, period.
Yeah.
That's the billboard.
Yeah.
Or is this showing people and all these vendors and, you know, they're picking out their pumpkins and they're coming to ice skate and we're turning on the big Christmas tree and, you know, all these types of things. Those are the things you're going to remember, whether you were there with your family and your, whatever, everybody has their different experience. But that we just want you to have a experience.
Yeah.
So taking those things into an educational world where it's all experience, that's where I take such value in being able to apply those things anymore and say, I had experiences. Why wouldn't they be if they're in the same shoes?
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of full circling back to seeing people. Not necessarily in my shoes, but just in generally. And this is the college experience. This is the USF experience we want you to have.
And that's sort of what they buy, right?
Yes.
Like, you know, we have so many conversations, and I think especially senior leadership, which I think is actually, I mean, anecdotally, right? I mean, we work with some really great clients, and President Bradfield and what you guys have going on over there is sort of, they get it, right? Where we can talk about cost, and we can talk about faculty, and we can talk about job placement rate, and we can talk about all of the things that we're going to talk about. Somewhere that's going to be said. What you're buying, what we want to sell, and what you, again, remember is going right back to how you feel on this campus and the experience you had with the people around you or the environment around you, and being able to sort of capture that authentically, put it in the right place, have a strategy behind it, and ultimately do what you all are trying to do, which is get more students to have that experience positively, and all the way through their 4 years or 5 years or 6 years or 8 years if they're in the doctorate program or whatever. And so all of that coming back to an experience where I think, you know, your background in sports, entertainment, and nonprofit event space really, I think, can be leveraged for the brand, which you guys are already doing. So awesome.
And, I mean, that brand, for the brand and the entertainment of that is exactly that. I mean, that's all we're here to show, is that you can show tuition numbers all day.
Yeah.
You can show a sheet of numbers all day, financial aid, scholarships. But if you turn that and you're saying, this is what you're going to get here.
Yeah.
It's not just a sheet of paper that's signed. You know, that's the old college joke of like, oh, this is the most expensive piece of paper. But I mean, this, while you were getting the experiences that you needed, you also get the experiences that you wanted. This is what you're looking for in your college life. This is what you're looking for in your college experience. So being able to not just offer some of those, but capture some of those has been some of the coolest experiences.
That's awesome. Was there like a confirming moment where you're like, oh yeah, this is where I should, like you said, sort of a confirming thing? Was there like a moment, or was it kind of a culmination of things?
I think there's been so many just really cool moments.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly for me, going my first way through a school year, and you know, not being in school for a little bit, it's
Sure.
like, man, did I
Welcome
value
back.
this enough? Because like,
it's a lot of work we do.
Kind of got done and, you know, started working and doing my thing. But man, this is just so cool. I'm probably happier for these people than they are. So being able to be at graduation and take pictures and capture those moments of just pure happiness. I mean, you've got parents hugging them and you're just so proud. Like, man, I'm happy for you. This is so cool to see. And being able to put those things out there for the world to see is also just something that's been really, really cool to see. You can find anybody in a cap and gown, but for them to see that authentic, you know, hug and the such joy in their faces, you can't create that.
I love that. I think, we were talking to another guest about just sort of what's higher ed for, right? It's a better quality of life. It's a pathway to a better quality of life, and to be able to share that with your loved ones, your families, and have them understand it. I mean, you guys have a lot of like first gen students and things like that. So that's really cool and awesome to hear. What do you think, sort of switching gears a little bit, what do you think higher ed content, marketing, branding is getting wrong or needs to improve on, from your perspective and what you've experienced with USF?
Yeah, and this is going to sound super backwards, but you have to stop trying so hard, because so often it does become this, showing the numbers, showing
Race to the bottom.
Trust me, this is going to be great. Hey, don't forget to apply and visit. All these things. It just becomes so forced, and that's for me. I'm a completely different generation than the current generation and the upcoming generation. Being able to study them and see the way that things have changed and the way that they're brought up in a completely different world than we were, is just so interesting, because it's the best way I can say it is effort kind of kills it.
Yeah.
If you are not careful and seem too inauthentic, I keep going back to that word, but I mean, if you just seem like you're just trying to sell them something,
They see right
swipe,
to it.
swipe, don't care. This could just as well have been a paid ad.
Yeah.
This is not
Might as
actual
well have been.
content on my timeline. But if you're organically putting out there and saying things, but you're just top of mind, and you're organically getting in front of them, the value of that is the same as what that would have been back for us in the day.
Absolutely.
And I mean, this is the back of the day of you and I talking
It's
about
not even that far back in the
10 years
day. It
ago.
makes me feel old every time, but I know what you're saying.
Yes. So it's that you can weirdly say you have to stop trying so hard. It just has to normalize the content and be able to be another account.
Yeah.
And stand out in what you have to offer, but not stand out in a way that is, look, we have a lower price. Isn't that great? You should come here.
Yeah. How do you balance that, with sort of, I think a lot of it's just legacy, right? Of we've always done this, or, well, we always send these emails when this happens and in this order, right? Like, why would we ever question or change or whatever, right? But like, how do you balance some of the institutionalness of it with sort of a brand voice that is authentic, that does meet students at their level on where they're at in their student journey, and sort of create that connection? How do you balance, those two things?
I think that's a good question, and kind of the ever-searching answer is
Yeah.
it may not always be attained, but I think something that you said there, there's three words that really stick out to me of kind of rooting to the issue. We've always done it.
Yeah.
4 words.
Nice. Yeah.
Words are hard. We've always done this way, that way. That's already your issue. Because you could have something brand new and great and wonderful, and it worked. You might have gone viral. Congratulations. But you copy and paste that and you do it the next day, you're going to see that go down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then down, and then down. And you find yourself, literally by the time you connect the dots, such a downfall, you're doing yourself a disservice. Sure. So being able to do that over 10 years, over 20 years, over 142 years.
Yeah.
If you value those things, that's great. But times are changing so much and so often and so quickly that you just can't afford to be we've always done. Those are the 3 words I was looking for.
There you go. Yeah. We've always.
We can't
that's
afford
perfect.
to look for the we've always done-ness of things. So in marketing, that's what I appreciate so much about being able to collaborate so well with students, with different pages that we have on campus. This isn't a one-man show and I'm running our social media.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got social media team that we meet once a month, and we've got people that run our student life account doing better than ever. They're showcasing those student events and that experience. And it's not just one thing that we've really worked on is this isn't this just happened post. This is meant to portray this could be you post. So we've got intramural sports. It's not like, well, we had volleyball the other night. Here's a highlight reel. I mean, fun, cool.
I like that sentiment.
But being able
guide it.
to go in and say, we've got people having so much fun with their volleyball. It's not about winning or losing. The tournament, you only get your picture taken if you win the tournament.
Right.
I mean, smiling, happy. Like, man, I'd love to play volleyball.
Yeah.
Wherever I go to college, you might not be there, but I hope I have that much fun.
Yeah.
But it's just going to create so much emotion in your head of like, oh, where was it they were having fun? That's right. I should look into what else they've got going on.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think we find ourselves in that conversation a lot, is sort of, combating, not really combating, that's an aggressive word, challenged by
Censored.
yeah, exactly, institutional sort of rigor. And I think there is a balance. I think it's different a little bit for everybody. I mean, it depends on what kind of institution you are, what kind of leadership you have, what kind of team you're working with. And that's kind of where I want to go next is, you guys are small but mighty. You're one of our favorite ones to work with because of that. There's so much juice for the squeeze every time with you and your team. How are you balancing that? And what advice or thoughts or perspective might you have for someone in a similar position on a smaller marketing team with smaller budgets, but no smaller goals and things to be held accountable for from an institution?
So, I mean, the best thing I can say is don't be complacent. And that kind of similar to the last one, but don't think that just because that's what you are doesn't mean that's what you have to be. There's always a way that you can be more. There's always a way that you can develop more. And it may not seem like much to you, but it's going to seem like a lot to somebody that is trying to go there.
Yeah.
Somebody that might go there. Somebody that's on the fence. Or again, maybe they never heard of you, but now they did because I found out you existed because of this. So the best thing that you can do is constantly trying to adapt, constantly trying to develop, and just not saying that we're good enough.
Yeah.
Not saying that, again, this has worked. Why would we change that? Because there's an element of things that of course, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Sure.
But you would be mistaken to say that that's good enough.
It's like trust, but verify.
Yes.
With strategy and how you guys are operating. Do you have any thoughts on working with students, working with faculty, working with sort of, the larger campus community in telling stories? How do you guys approach that? And what might you say to someone, again, in a similar position who's tasked with such a gargantuan feat to tell the USF story?
I mean, that's the thing. We wish we had more time, more money, more all the things to reach every single person about when they graduated, or maybe they graduated 50 years ago and they're still doing awesome things. There's a mix of everywhere in between, and that's the thing, is you can never have enough. You can never tell enough stories. You can never just say this is this is what we need. That's fine.
Yeah.
But there's just so many cool things going on that you may or may not ever know.
Yeah.
And that's you that works for it.
Sure.
You're trying to reach people that may or may not have
know
anywhere
who you
close
are.
to
Yeah,
you.
of course.
And how would they ever find that?
How are
but
you
if we're
guys
talking
approaching that?
about
Yeah.
people that are going on and studying and becoming world leaders in cleft research, I know is one of them that we have,
Sure.
a cleft lip and cleft palate.
Oh, yeah.
They're leading research. They got really high up here and are working in Africa right now.
That's
and
amazing.
Developing, working with African children.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You would never know that, though. You're obviously very far from here, but nobody would ever know that. So being able to connect with those people and stay connected, I think, is just as important as being able to get new people. In terms of telling those stories and working towards that, staying connected is so important, because you meant a lot to somebody. That's why they came to you, and that's why they did so much. But they need to realize that it goes the other way too.
Sure.
I mean, they mean a lot to us.
Yeah.
To be able to represent us in the world like that with the cool things that you're doing.
Yeah, I feel like that every time I step onto a college campus. And I played football and I went to school for football. I wasn't thinking about, I have a degree in biology. I work in a marketing agency doing sales. So you can sort of see the path of me not even thinking what's my future? What am I going to do? It all worked out. Thank you. But, having that, every time I step on a college campus, I have that same feeling around there's just cool stuff happening here, and it's at every college and at every university, and it looks different and feels different everywhere. And we have the conversation between agency and client around like what's the right fit student, and how do we attract that and double down on that and continue to do what we're doing for that student, where, like you said, it might not be right for everybody, but it is really right for somebody, and we feel like that is what we're here to do and tell. And I don't know if there's a question in here. I'm just sort of rambling. But I think it's really cool to hear you talk about USF students and the great work that they continue to do, because I feel like that all the time. I mean, I'm 10, 12 years removed from college now, and I see, oh my gosh, Jack did this, that, and the other. I'm like, nice. He was in my econ class. I said what's up to him every day, but like now he's doing something really cool and kicking butt. But
I mean, you see that in the real world today.
Yeah,
I mean, there's you and I that are like, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. This is great. I mean, it's my favorite joke, but I've told people, like, I got into working in sports and working in going to school for journalism and ultimately kind of dominoing where I am because of kind of accident.
Same.
I tell people that when you peak athletically in middle school, the closest you thought you could get to sports, which is everything I valued at the time, was being an athletic trainer.
Yeah.
I did it. I didn't love it. But it was, I went to school for it. I spent my whole freshman year as a kinesiology major.
Interesting.
But then I realized that, I can talk sports, write sports, video sports. There's so many ways. There's a whole realm to
participate in it without,
and being able to get involved. That's
without medical school. How great.
Yeah, I mean, I can just do that and get paid for it.
Yeah,
like, that's awesome. So being able to domino those things, and how I took things that I valued from there, working in sports, and then I valued the marketing side, and then I valued the video side, and I valued the digital side. Have found myself to where I am, and that's the furthest end of the spectrum of like, man, that really worked out.
Same.
But
I have
again,
a very
you see
similar story.
So many people out there, whether it's current or maybe a year out of school, or again 20 years out of school. And like, man, they're doing some really cool stuff. I wonder if they ever thought they were going to get there.
Yeah.
They certainly are now, and man, are they running with it.
Well, you can kind of feel it on campus, and I think maybe that's what I was trying to get to in my ramble earlier, was like you can sort of feel the energy of something's happening. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is, and I might never know, right? Yeah. But this campus, this community, this brand, something's going on with it, and so we need to, amplify that, tell that story. And you had mentioned the Savannah Bananas earlier, and we were kind of talking pre-show about how cool that organization is and what they're doing from a marketing and branding standpoint. Do you have any brands or institutions even that you look at and admire or pull things from, or like to take a peek at to sort of apply it to USF?
There's a good mix. I would have to think in terms of anything specific. Okay. I mean, I try to keep it pretty broad because you never know where something's going to come from. And honestly, one example of that I can give is actually NBC.
Oh, sure.
It sounds so broad because they do so many things. But they just had the Olympics last year. I mean, we're almost at the end of 25, so 2024 in the summer. That's a year ago. But they had the Olympics going on. And in talking with my director of admissions, he was like, man, I saw this video the other day that they brought some of these people over for interviews. And I mean, you're in the Olympics, you're doing interviews. So that's a whole normal thing.
Table stakes,
But they brought them into this area, and it was a surprise. They had a video from their parents that they walked in and saw. Like, oh, hey, we're so proud of you, and all these things. We said, well, what if we did that? What if we did our version of that? So that was in August of last year. We worked throughout the year, just chipping away piece by piece by piece, and then we got to the spring, and it was like hammer time. But for graduation, we did a similar type of video. Right before graduation, we brought in 5 people that were graduating. There was 1 graduate student and 4 undergraduate students, and we said, hey, we just want to interview you about your time here and see what you have to say. And got connected with them, but we actually connected with their parents, with their families. And we put together this video, and had them submit it and edit it and show this. So we put it up on this projector screen. I mean, we sat them down and said, okay, well, let's get started. But first, and then I had someone with me shut the lights off, and it pops up, and the confusion,
like what's happening,
which already fantastic. But seeing that like light up on their face of like their parents just being there.
Yeah.
Wow, really that's cool. So cool. So it was just a 2.5 minute video that we did, and we actually played at graduation.
Oh, really nice.
And
tears were shed.
Yes, tears were shed. You could hear the sniffles.
That's amazing,
and it was
man.
just awesome to be able to have. But we don't do it for the sniffles and for the tears.
Of course.
We do it to tell those stories that, just being at graduation, you feel that sense of pride, and you're there to support someone. But man, you guys all did it. And like, this is just so cool to see.
Well, and being able to just sort of pull from kind of a major mass media global event and say, hey, what's our version of that? I think is kind of a little bit of a superpower, because not everyone has the type of team that would, be open to something like that, or not everyone sort of has the lens to say, we can do something to do that. Do you guys have any more of those things planned, or things that you've sort of pulled from other industries, or kind of out in the wild?
Some in the works. I mean, we don't want everything to be all for graduation either. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things. We try to do cool things for Christmas video. Christmas means a lot to a university like us. So we like to have fun with that. It's a good, meaningful holiday that we like to embrace. So Christmas is usually a fun video. Nice. We'll likely get something good going for that. Graduation's always the special time, but otherwise, you'll just have to wait and find out.
I will. I'll be tuned in for sure. Let's hit this last round. I'll hit you with some rapid fire questions here. First thing that comes to your mind, you can expand on it if you want. You don't have to. You can just sort of give me the P's and Q's on that one, or if you want to get into a discussion, awesome. Okay. The one project you're most proud of?
Probably that graduation video. I mean, the end result was just fantastic. We were so proud of it. They were so proud of it. Yeah. It was awesome to see. And just quick, I know this is lightning round, but super quickly with that, one of the gentlemen that we had in the video, his two sons, I believe actually have autism. Okay. And he said, there's people that have that condition that can't talk at all. Yeah. But to have them in this video on this screen, and he's getting to see them say, congratulations, Daddy, and is so happy. I mean,
my heart.
He told us, like, you guys don't even know how much this means to me. Yeah. I mean, like, he could say thank you and all these things, and he was the nicest guy in the world. But you could just see it was such an indescribable amount.
Yeah, hit deeper than just graduation. So
being able to have things like that and offer things like that to the world. Amazing. I mean, that's a blessed place for me to be in, let alone for them to be in.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. We're gonna have to link to that video or something.
Absolutely.
in the description. One thing, and you kind of alluded to it, maybe. One thing you wish more institutions would try, maybe when it specifically comes to content or digital marketing.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
If you're not, that's honestly one thing I meant to say earlier that I learned in sports is if you're not having fun, they're not having fun. Because if you're standing around and you're just waiting for things to happen, that's all that they're going to be doing. So if you're having fun, they're having fun. You have to create that sometimes. You have to, whether it's just the atmosphere of that or you just kind of bump them in the right direction. Yeah. I mean, we did one right after the school started this year where we drew hopscotch right outside of all the doors.
Nice.
So they didn't know we were recording them, but I mean, they'd come out and they're like, get a little giddy and they're just hit it and it's great. Yeah. But something simple like that was like, oh, well, that was funny. That was cool.
That's awesome.
But if we didn't do that, they weren't going to do that. They weren't going to come out and draw it and do hopscotch coming out of class.
Yeah. You sort of facilitate your way to fun.
And to that end, it did not just content-wise, but maybe that student had a hard day in class. Maybe they just had a really rough test. Yeah. But that's something that just keeps you going. Like, man, awesome. I value this. That was fun.
Yeah, student experience, right? Yes. Like, how do you feel on this campus?
Exactly.
I love it.
Yes.
The biggest challenge, maybe not your team or maybe yours, just content teams in general are facing in 2025 going into 2026.
Keeping up. Yeah. I mean,
we talked.
That's physically. That is trying to do enough at all times that you need to. I mean, if you're trying to be an influencer as a college marketer, you're
good
in
luck.
For a time. I hope you do have that team of 30 going on, and that you can carve out your time because, like locally, you look at Shields, the Sioux Falls Shields, fantastic. And I guess as I'm thinking about these, that's a brand that I look at a lot.
Shields is good.
They executionally,
especially organically,
perfect. I mean, organically, ideas just crazy. They come up with it all themselves, and it's not like they are ripping from other places, other Shields or anything like that. They are just on top of it.
Yeah.
So being able to have something like that and be good at it and embrace it, that's the goal. So I wish we could do that, and I try to do as much as I can in that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the biggest thing that I could say is keeping up is just going to be so hard. But take the value in what you can do. Yeah. Make the most of that.
I like that. That's a good sort of balance there. Two sides of the coin. Yeah. Do you have, this is sort of off the script here, we'll go back to that. Do you have any tools or softwares or just sort of like tactical things that you use that our audience might get some value out of, or similar positions of yours?
There's always ways of sprucing things up. It doesn't have to be the black and white or the purple and white in our occasion. Nice. It doesn't have to be so plain. Yeah. Things can have elements to it. Things can be fun. Things can lean into that. Yeah. So I think being able to work interchangeably with creating a cool thumbnail and then being able to edit my video and then going to edit the audio of that, make sure that it's all good and have all that in final product. Yeah. There's a value in that.
Yeah.
So
definitely
that, and then just the ability to know to capture. That's a really underrated thing in
that's
marketing.
That's a cultural sort of thing.
Like, so many times in a normal life, and I teach this to my work studies and any interns that I've had, is you have to be in the mindset. It's not that you always have to be working and you always have to like have your mind on that. Yeah. It's not about that, but you don't want to end with an event and say, oh man, I wish I took pictures of that. Right. Because you can't. Yeah. You can't recreate that moment, that reaction, those things again. But if you get anything from that. I mean, if I selfied right now, it's like, hey, we were on this podcast today. Yeah. You know, now I know. Yeah. So
I love that.
Being able to just have that mindset of always have something to create. I would say that's a way to go.
No, I appreciate that. I think, that's something we try to communicate. I think that some people get there easier. I think I'm one of those that doesn't, right? I'm always like, even with my family, I'm like, we didn't take any pictures of that. Like, we have no memory that we were ever here. But that sort of capture mindset, right? And it is a mindset, it is an approach, and it is a sort of perspective to approach things with.
You might feel like your mom at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, just really getting every picture you can there. Absolutely. But the value is there. And if you don't use it, you're not out anything. But if you do, you have it.
I like that. Okay, last one. Or maybe two. A creative, either a campaign inside of higher ed or outside that you've really got inspired by or really liked or dived deeper into to find out more.
Yeah.
So you're probably so busy you probably don't see much. You got your head down on USF.
I mean,
or how about the USF campaign?
I mean, the USF campaign certainly is something that we've really enjoyed, and I think people have. Being able to, we've talked about modernizing, and that's been a firm piece of that, is being out in the community and just being present, being like, achieve your greatness is our tagline that we've created, and knowing that that's just like, oh, well, of course, I'm going to college, should be great. Yeah. But like knowing and seeing that like that's something I can do. Yeah. If that's achievable, I'm in. Where do I sign up? That's awesome.
I thought it was really cool the way that we worked together on it, but it was really prompted by you guys was doing the mall. Yes. Graphics.
The mall one
and taking over the middle of town on every window and just how great that looked. And when you're driving past and even in the building and coming through there, I thought that was a really cool element that we don't get the opportunity to do a lot. So it was really cool that you guys
between that cool. and the in development, soon to be seen by the world video that we recorded with you folks is just incredible. I mean, I'm so excited. I've been excited to see it. I'm excited even more for people to see it.
That's awesome.
I think we're really going to separate ourselves, not just here, but from institutionally anywhere in the world. I mean, I think it's just a really cool area that we can show that you might not think of.
Yeah, the video team had a lot of fun with that. They're excited too. They've been showing it all our internal events, and so it'll be a good one when it comes out. We'll make sure we link it once it drops in the episode.
Yes.
If there was one piece of advice, nugget of perspective, or something you might leave a higher education marketer with maybe someone new in their position, maybe someone in your current position who's doing content work, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a breakout piece of one thing centrally, but I mean, like adapting, embracing,
It's a big one.
and having fun. I mean, adapt constantly, keep yourself moving, don't find yourself getting stagnant because, again, if you are, they are. Keep yourself embraced in what's going on, but ingrain yourself in a space that there's so many things going on. I mean, that's post college and that's at college. I mean, the experience, capture it.
Love it.
And have some fun. I mean, if you're not
huge.
having fun, they're not having fun, and that experience has to be fun for you because you know it's going to be fun for them.
I love it.
I tell people all the time that like I'm here with a camera. I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, oh, you got to work again. I'm get to capture people having fun. This is great. I mean, that in that case, they're doing me the service. They're having fun, so I can have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm not just going to take pictures. Someone sitting behind a desk again and again and again. But it's that trade-off. I mean, the world is always going to balance that. So being able to capture that, that's what's going to keep you going.
Well, I love your perspective on that. I think that's huge. I think we forget about it, especially professionally. So I appreciate you reminding us, especially in the marketing world and especially in the higher ed world, that like it's fun. This is a transitional time. This is a student's pathway to a better quality of life. And you get to be a part of that, and you get to show that, and you get to really put them in the space to make the right decision to choose USF, right?
Absolutely.
Well, with that, Dustin, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more Epicosity and USF work coming soon. But you guys are doing so many great things, and we really appreciate you guys as a client and as a partner. And so thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
We'll have to pick this up.
I have to echo the same thing back to you guys. There's been, I mean, it's still today. I've met 3 new people just being in this building.
Good.
And being able to work with somebody new all the time and just the same people all the time.
Yeah.
This relationship has blossomed into so much, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. And each member of your team has been just a blessing to work with.
We're excited to see where it goes. You guys are doing the work, and we're just championing what you guys are already doing. So we appreciate you. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you.